Hi, it's Casey and Bethany at the Dirty Gym. Today we're gonna talk to you about the box squat. Okay, so we're gonna be going over your setup, your execution of the movement, and how you actually use this movement in training. Okay, so first we're gonna talk about the setup. So for the box squat, of course you need a box. Okay, so different training heights that we'll use a box that's below parallel, right at parallel, and slightly above parallel. Okay, so in execution, you can rotate through these three different box heights in 3-week waves. Okay, so we would do a 3-week wave with a low box squat, just below parallel. We would do a 3-week wave at parallel, and then we could do a 3-week wave above parallel, okay? Or you can choose your box height based on specific sticking point, okay? So if we have a hard time coming out of the hole, of course we wanna work on a below parallel box height. We don't wanna always be working off a super high box height. It's not going to accurately reflect how our rate of force production is improving and how our strength is improving, okay? So why we're actually doing this movement, okay? We're working on rate of force production here, okay? This isn't to help our positioning in our squat because our stance is gonna be augmented, okay? And execution of the movement is going to be augmented for this, okay? Because we are breaking up the concentric and eccentric portion of this lift, okay? So typically we use this with more advanced level athletes. The beginners and intermediates usually need more help actually with the squat in itself, perfecting the squat technique. So we won't throw in a new variation until they're very competent in the actual squat. We will also use this for athletes who are not ready to have a barbell loaded on themselves. So we will do a goblet squat to a box if someone has problems with stability. So typically we're using this with athletes who aren't ready for a barbell yet, or more advanced level athletes, okay? So let's check out Bethany's stance here. She's gonna use a wide stance, okay? This will typically be a little bit wider than your normal squat stance, okay? So Bethany is going to sit down to the box here, and you'll notice when she sits, this puts her just a hair below parallel, okay? So this is a good training height for her. You'll also notice her stance width. And another thing that you'll notice with her stance is that this width puts her knee directly above her ankle, okay? And that's what we want. We want knee over ankle. Your shin should be totally straight and perpendicular to the floor. Okay, so that's an important thing about stance. In execution, we're typically gonna be using a low bar position with this, okay? So that means the bar is seated in the rear delt. Okay, so Bethany has her low bar position. She first initiates with a hinge at the hip and then drives her glutes back. You'll notice she's sitting very softly to the pad. At the bottom, she is releasing tension in her hips, but she's not releasing her abs. That is a very, very key point. You'll also notice that her knee never goes over her toe. That's because this is an exercise designed to overload the glutes and hamstrings. We don't want any forward knee travel in this movement. In summary here, we're going to be using a low bar position, a slightly wider stance than we would use in our raw squat. We really need to be focusing in on keeping our abs tight, especially as we sit to the box. You should do a full deload on the box, not letting that knee come over the toe, driving the knees out super, super hard, and returning back to your normal starting stance, okay? This can be a great tool for better rate of force production, but it does not replace raw squatting.